The story of that car, we came back from the ranch, and I don't remember why, but for some reason, Dad had decided to buy a car, and he used to wear bib overalls, filthy dirty. He was always working out in the field. So we went to on Highland Avenue near Hollywood Boulevard. We went into a Cadillac dealer.
But it wasn't the green Cadillac. It was another Cadillac.
Oh, was it?
The green Cadillac we bought in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's
And
right.
I drove
Well,
east.
this one, he came in and he said he wanted to buy a Cadillac. The guy looked him over and made a few remarks. And anyway, Dad finally decided he'd buy it. It was on Sunday. And so Dad started to write a check, and the guy said he wasn't going to take a check. Do you remember what went on after that?
I don't remember that, but we got the car.
We got the car. And anyway, then I don't know how Dad did it, but he was good. He was a real good con artist. One time we went to Laurie's Prime Rib, and we walked in, and Dad had been feeling lousy. So he came in, he had a bad cold, so he came in as he was, and he saw a big sign that said, "We do not accept personal checks." So he came on in.
Dad.
But, so we came in, and Irene was with us, Fran and Irene, and we had a great dinner, and everybody had lots of stuff, and he was feeling a little better, but not quite good enough. So when the bill came, he started to write a check, and they said, "We don't accept personal checks."
And kids, this was before everybody had credit cards for everything.
Oh yeah, just FYI.
It was either checks or cash.
Oh.
And so
Didn't exist.
There was such
he
a
said, "Well, I don't have any."
Cheap.
Pulled out his pockets. He said, "I don't have any money." And Irene said, "I'll wash dishes." And I said, "I'll dry." And then finally, after a big hassle and bring the manager in, they finally said they'd take his check. And Dad said, "I wouldn't let a check of mine go through this establishment he reached in and picked out." A lot of money.
But how'd he talk a guy into taking a check on a Sunday for a Cadillac when he walked in wearing overalls, muddy overalls?
Didn't they go to a different place?
I thought he went to a different dealership
And he
cash and drove by the first one.
And say, "Look what I just bought."
All I remember it was on.
Yeah, I think I heard something about
I
that.
thought that was that.
I don't know. I don't.
The story's changed.
Okay, we still haven't heard what you did wrong that you've
the
never.
Cadillac, the green one was. I asked Dad if I could borrow it because it was what did they call the shows? Away from homecoming show down.
You were going to say
Away.
Yeah. And so a group there was a group called the Trolls.
Oh, yeah.
And the Trolls were the people that were a little different. You had to be invited. You never knew why you were invited or refused.
Because you were different.
And also, I know when I got invited, it's always a surprise. I was supposed to come to the dinner. Well, I came late and it was locked out. And I never got to. They invited me, but I made a few mistakes. So anyway, so there was this big show that so a group of my friends and I, the Trolls, all got dressed up. And then we started down the hill into the show. And 3 people sitting up in the back of on the back part of the Cadillac, and those were 2 of us in front, and we started down there, and down the hill we came, and everyone was applauding, and I hit the brakes, and nothing happened.
Oh.
And we panicked, everyone started screaming, and I finally slammed them again, and it worked, and boom, everyone was on top of me. That was the worst thing I ever did.
Oh.
But I do want to say 2 things. One is, when we were talking about my dad, one of the first dates I ever had with a guy was in, what's a canyon between Burbank and,
Laurel Canyon?
between Burbank and Hollywood, or Glendale and Hollywood. The canyon. There's a freeway through it now.
Oh, a Barb Pass.
Yeah. And, well, anyway, there was a great restaurant there, and Dad had
Smokehouse.
Dad hadn't talked to Guy much, so he thought I'd take him for dinner there. So I went there, and I was telling Guy to be on his good behavior. And get in there and sit down, and I'll never forget what he said. Dad, because he was very distinct with his leg and his attitude, and the judge, some guy came up and said to us, "Hi, Judge, how are you?" and on and on. And then Dad was real friendly, and then he walked away. And before he did, Dad said, "I don't know who the hell you are, but sit down." And that's my favorite saying from my dad.
What was wrong with his leg?
He had an accident as a child.
I think he fell down and they couldn't replace the kneecap.
Well, they were gangrene set in.
Oh.
And they were going to amputate his leg. And his mother pretty much, I guess, said, "Over my dead body."
Mm-hmm.
So what
She
they
was a
did,
very definite person.
and what they did, they removed the kneecap.
Kneecap.
It took around the gangrene, so he could never bend his leg.
Oh, really?
Really?
But he played golf. He was a good golfer.
And on his Princeton cup, you know,
Peg.
you have your beer cup, you know, and they had all his roommates and friends had carved their name, but on it said Peg Morrison. He was known as Peg all the way through college because of Peg leg.
So first it was Peg and then it was the judge.
Oh, yeah.